Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cody and I wanted to show you guys how I plan for our monthly meal plan every single month. So if you have watched any of my grocery haul videos, then you see that we do a big once a month grocery shopping trip every month. But in order to do that, I have some work at home that I have to do to make that possible first. So I'm going to show you guys that. But before I jump into that, I need to make a quick little treat for my kiddos who are having some rest time today. So I thought I would bring you guys along for that and show you just a quick little dessert treat snack that we have really been enjoying a lot lately. We have been able to get strawberries pretty inexpensively around here lately. So because of that, my kids really love, and I really love, let's be honest, this lemon cream cheese dip that we make from it. So I'm going to start off with 1 block of cream cheese. It's best if it's softened. And then I'm going to beat the fire out of this. So once we've kind of gotten some air into that, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and then beat that in. Once we get that mostly incorporated, I'm going to start adding some flavors to this. So cream cheese is going to have some nice tanginess, but I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla. And then I'm going to add the zest, not the juice, just the zest of 1 lemon. You want to make sure that you're just getting the yellow part. The white part is super bitter, so you just want the yellow part. That's going to give you a nice lemony flavor. I don't need the juice for this, but I'm not going to throw this lemon away. I'm going to stick this in a Ziploc bag and put it in my freezer, and then the next time I know that I need lemon juice for something, I can pull this lemon out, make sure that it's completely thawed, and still get juice from this lemon. So it's not trash. And then the last thing that we're going to add is about 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. And then I'm going to beat that up until it's nice and creamy. Just like that. So it's nice and creamy and thick. And this will stay good in the fridge for about a week, which is about as long as the strawberries will stay good in the refrigerator. So then once I get my strawberry dip all done, then I like to go ahead and pull out my strawberries that have already been washed and chop them up and put them in a glass container just to stay in my refrigerator, because then I know that kids are going to come in and eat it. So I'm going to put this together and then I'm going to get started on my meal plan. So every month I pull out my trusty planner and I turn to the page that is just a full month in a view. And I like to put my meal plan on here because it is just the easiest place that I can look at one glance and see everything that we are having for the entire month. So what I do is every single day I put a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner on each individual day of the month. When I have finished actually cooking a meal, then I highlight it so that at the beginning of the next month, I can go back through and see anything that is not highlighted. I already know besides possibly the fresh stuff, I have everything for that meal. So before I do anything else, I check what do I already have from the month before, and I move that over to the next month. It really just depends. Some months, maybe like when I was at the beginning of this pregnancy, I was so sick that I didn't cook a lot. So on that month, the next month, I was able to just move a lot of this stuff over. But then some months we do keep to our actual meal plan. We don't go out to dinner. We might not go like out to friends for dinner or have people over or have like a special party or anything like that. It is just our actual meal plan. And on those months, it is glorious and we always stick to our budget. But sometimes that's not possible. So sometimes we do have meals left over. So once I do that, then I go and shop my freezers for the protein that we are going to need for that month first before I do anything else. The protein is almost always going to be the most expensive part of the meal. So if I know that we already have so much of that covered, then it lifts some burden off of our budget, and I know I'm able to fit some other things in there. Besides that, I don't want to just have stuff in my freezer for months and months and months. I want to actually rotate and use whatever it is that we already have on hand. So in our house, we have 4 freezers. We have 2 chest freezers, a stand-up freezer, and then the freezer that is attached to our refrigerator. And because of that, I like to keep a running list of everything that I have in there. Sometimes that gets messed up, so before I meal plan, I do go and make sure I have those things, but I like to check there before I do anything else. Once I have our protein set, then I go through and start writing what we're actually planning on eating that month. So for the month of January, I knew I had 4 whole chickens. So every Monday in the month of January, our dinner is going to be roast chicken, mashed potatoes, and then some sort of a side. So we might have like frozen peas that I cook, or we might have a salad to go with that, something like that. Maybe some chopped apples or carrots. But we will have roast chicken and mashed potatoes. So I know I didn't have to buy any of the chickens for this month because I already had those in my freezer. And then any chicken that we have left over and the bone broth that I make from that whole chicken on Monday, we will then use on Wednesday, because every Wednesday for dinner we have chicken and noodles. I also like to try to make some sort of a bread, biscuits or hot rolls, something like that, flatbread. That just is also going to stretch our budget as far as possible. And then like every Tuesday this month, I didn't want to do every Monday we do the same thing, every Tuesday we do the same thing, every Wednesday we do the same thing. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that worked out. Every Friday we have homemade pizza. But then the rest of the week, that is not how it worked out. But I also don't do something different every single week. So for Tuesday, 2 of the weeks we have lasagna, and 2 of the weeks we have stuffed shells. So those are going to be pretty similar in the flavor profile, but they're going to be different enough so that we do feel like that we are getting some variety. But because they have a lot of the same similar ingredients, I can still bulk buy for our Tuesday night dinners. And then just put them together in different ways so that we're getting something a little bit different and have a little bit of variety in our menu and our meals. So that has been really helpful. We're getting to still bulk buy, so we're saving money, but we're using the ingredients differently. And so we're getting that variety, so we're not getting bored every single month. Now, every Monday for the rest of our lives are not always going to be a roast chicken, but for this month, that's how it worked out. We do have like dinners that are more cold weather and dinners that are more warm weather. So in the summer, in the springtime, we might change this up completely and not do any of the things that we had in January. But for right now, this works really, really great for us. So I make sure, once I make my menu plan, I make sure and look through all of my refrigerators, all of our pantry space, our storage space where we keep our bulk food items, making sure that I am not getting anything that we don't already have in stock if I don't absolutely have to. So I will go through and shop my home first, and then once I get finished with that and then I see anything that we have on our meal plan that I don't already have the ingredients for at home, that is when I go to making my actual grocery list. So I have a spreadsheet that I made because it's just kind of nerdy like that, I guess. And I put down the products that we're actually going to purchase. And then I spend some good time. So usually I do our shopping on a Thursday because the ads in our area for grocery stores usually come out on Wednesdays. So that's usually when we can just get the best deal. And so I like to go through, I write every product down, and then at the top here I have every store besides Winco, I need to add that to this, that we usually shop at. And then I go through and I spend time looking through every ad, looking on apps, looking on websites, and figuring out where I can get the best deal on each individual product. Once I do that, I then make a list for each individual store and write what I'm getting from each individual store. This is going to ensure that I am getting the absolute best price no matter what. And sometimes it might not seem like it's that big of a deal if I'm going to spend an extra 25 cents on something from one store rather than another. But those 25 cents can add up really, really fast. And because of that, I want to make sure that I'm always getting the best possible deal because it makes a big difference in the end. Once I have all of that done, then I like to go in on any app that I can and add whatever it is that I'm actually purchasing to a cart. What that's going to do is that's going to give me a subtotal at the end so that I can see exactly what I should spend at each individual store. This is really helpful because we don't ever get to a register and be shocked at how much we're actually spending once everything has been rung up. A lot of times, if I don't do that, I might go to one store first and be like, oh, I hadn't even imagined, I hadn't even remembered that we would need this. We haven't used it in a long time, but I forgot to add this to my list and we definitely needed it. And then I might grab stuff and put it in my cart, check out, and spend a lot more at one store than I expected to. And then I get to the next store and I don't have as much money left in my budget. But if I keep a running subtotal of each store and know how much I should expect to spend there, that also gives me an idea of how much room we have left in our budget. So once I finish that, then I go back through our house. I go through freezers, refrigerators, make sure everything's cleaned out so there's plenty of space to put all of the groceries once we actually bring them home. And I see any like holes that I can find in our stockpile. And then any money that we have left over in our budget, we will use our entire grocery budget every single month, because any money that we have left over in our grocery budget, I will then use that, whether it's $5 or $100. I will allocate that to fill holes in our stockpile so that the next month I don't have to worry about running out of stuff, or whenever I go to do our meal plan the next month, I have more stuff to use. So that might be, if I have a lot of money left in our grocery budget, like $100, it might be a good time to restock up on some of the meats that we keep in our freezer. If I have less in my budget, then that might be a good time to restock up on things like pasta, because that's a pretty inexpensive ingredient. So like I said, I like to make some sort of a bread product at least once a day if I'm not making bagels or cinnamon rolls for breakfast, or muffins or something like that. Then I almost always have like a biscuit or a hot roll or a loaf of fresh bread or something for dinner that night. But that means that I have to make sure that we stay stocked up on things like flour and yeast. So I also make sure I check and see, do I need to add that to our grocery list? And sometimes yes, sometimes no. It just kind of depends on how much I've let that dwindle in our stockpile. The one thing that I do not make a plan for every single day is some sort of a snack. So our kids do like to snack, which is fine with me. I don't mind that, but I like to try as often as possible to make sure that those things are from scratch, made in our home. So we do purchase some snack things, like every couple of months I might buy a box of Oreos because my family loves Oreos from Sam's. And so I might buy a big box from Sam's of Oreos, and then that'll last us a couple of months. But then we also we don't want that every single day. So I like to mix it up and include some from scratch things as well. Like the snack that I just made for my kids today, they're getting a fresh fruit, and I know everything that is going into that, and so I feel good about that. But because of that, I need to make sure that we keep that kind of stuff on hand. So things like different kinds of chocolate chips, brown sugar, powdered sugar, plain sugar, oats, butter, anything like that that we are going to use just for a basic like cookie or cake or cupcake, whatever, any kind of a dessert like that. Just basic ingredients. I want to make sure that I have those continually stocked in our house as well, because then anytime that we get the itch to bake, I'm not running to the grocery store to get any of those ingredients. We have a plethora of things that we are capable of making just at any given time. So that is also very helpful. In the end, it is a lot of work. It definitely takes me a couple of hours, if not longer than that, every month, the day before I go grocery shopping, to go through all of the ads, to add everything to my cart, to see what I have in my house, to clean everything out. All of the things, it takes a long time for me to do that. But in managing that, we have saved hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars over the last few years, making sure that we are meal planning and then sticking to that plan once we actually make it. It is definitely able to stretch our budget a lot further. And then we've been able to build up a great stockpile of groceries in our house so that when we have times like right now where we have been snowed in and iced in, our town has been out of water for almost a week now because of it, that we are able to not worry about having to get out of our house to go to the grocery store. We are just able to make sure that we're eating the things that are on our meal plan, and then we're good. I don't have to worry about what we do or don't have. So that's been extremely, extremely helpful. I hope that that's helpful for you guys. If anybody's interested in my super nerdy little spreadsheet here, let me know and I'll try to make that available for you guys to download. If you have any questions about how I meal plan or how I figure any of this out, just let me know. And other than that, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.